So before we get into how Jericho Sims and Julius Randle disappointed the city of New York over All-Star Weekend, I'm going to introduce me. My name is Johnell. This is my guy, our resident Knick fan, Matt Price, Cash Walking. How are you feeling today? How's the week been since we last spoke here on this podcast? What's going on?
Feel great, man. Action-packed week in the NBA. I feel good though. I feel good.
Yep.
I'm ready for the season starting back
Yes, tomorrow.
Thursday.
Yep.
Season's gonna be coming back. I'm ready, man. I'm ready. Let's do it.
It's the home stretch into the playoffs. There's a lot at stake.
Yep.
So again, we got a lot to get into, but we're gonna start off
Absolutely.
first with the All-Star game, All-Star weekend, the festivities. First and foremost, did you watch everything over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday?
I watched it all. Celebrity game, Rising Stars. Shout out to Quentin Grimes. He should have won MVP, but his team didn't win. That's why they didn't win. But and I watched, obviously the dunk contest, everything, 3-point contest,
Yep.
everything, all the events in the game, everything. I consumed it all the entire weekend.
So we'll talk about the game last. The celebrity and rising stars. I did not watch either. Actually, I don't think. What were
DK
your thoughts?
Metcalf, dog.
Yeah,
DK
man.
Metcalf can play in the NBA, dog. My man built like a power forward, like he's for real.
He's a
And he was
freak,
out
man.
here two steps from the free throw line, bang! I was like, I said, oh my, who is that? It's crazy. He's real athletic out there, man. And
Yeah,
there's a couple people out there that can play. There's a couple people who just, they obviously go because their publicist probably just gets them in it or
yeah.
whatever, and they just show up. Janelle Monae was promoting the song, so
Gotcha.
she was a part of the whole weekend. Her song was linked with the thing. Like, she don't play basketball, dog,
Yeah.
but it was good to see her out there. She was doing her thing. She's got a great
Nice.
personality. There was a lot going on, and then the Rising Stars, man. I'm telling you, bro. Quentin Grimes was a flamethrower out there. There
Yeah.
was a lot of a lot of young players, like all the young players that you think would be in it and that were in it. I don't think they
Yep.
really missed anybody. It was real exciting, but that's what I took home. Like, I was watching my one guy that
Yeah.
was in it from my team, so like I wasn't locked in on everybody. I was locked in on Grimes. He was doing work.
Okay.
Oh, I can't wait to the second half of the season for the Knicks. Can't
And
wait.
and then what'd you think about? I did watch all the festivities on Saturday night. What did you think
Saturday, yeah.
of the skills competition, dunk contest, and the 3-point contest?
I wish we would have got the Antetokounmpo brothers fully intact,
Me
right?
too.
Because the Giannis, yeah, I wish we would have got that because they always compete mad hard,
Yes.
like
Yep.
they don't even they never do that thing like it's just
They're
a
never.
fun event. They
Yep.
go hard, like all of them, and so I love that, and that's why they keep doing it. They're that's a part of All Star Weekend now. Is seeing
Absolutely.
those three brothers linking up. It's something special that who knows what we're gonna see. I mean, we've seen it with the Holiday brothers and
With the
now with
holidays, yeah.
Giannis in there, but yeah, but it's like who knows when we're going to see a trio of brothers all make it to the league and be there at the same time, man.
Very true.
So that was special.
Very
3-point
true.
contest. I mean, look, I picked Tyler Hero. The way he shot was not the way he shoots. It's weird.
It's so I compare the 3-point contest to the home run derby, where you kind
Right.
of get out of the way that you would normally swing, the way that you would normally shoot.
Yeah.
So again, I mean, I feel like Tyler Hero of the bunch is probably the best, like, pure 3-point shooter, but
Like
I don't
shooter,
think,
yeah.
yeah, I don't think that necessarily translates to the competition. You know what I'm saying?
Even still, like, it was weird, like watching him take the ball off and everything. Like, he was almost sidestepping. Like, he's a player that has to like play off the dribble and get his shot. He can get his own shot. So it
Yeah.
was interesting to watch him like get the ball and like when he pulls it, he was like out to the side and like he's doing mad extra. I'm like, yo, you're taking the extra. I don't even know how many tenths of a second to do all this. Like, just shoot the ball.
Which is
So it
wild
was crazy.
because there was multiple players who ran out of time at the end of the shot clock.
Yeah,
It used to be 60 seconds. I think
exactly.
it's 70 seconds. They have an extra 10 seconds because of the two
Yeah,
deep balls or whatever. But there were a few players that either didn't make it or were rushing
didn't
on the
even
last
finish.
rack. Yeah.
Yeah, because like, yo, it was funny. Evan Fournier on Twitter, he was like, yo, if Julius could have been able to like pump fake jab, like go through his legs a couple times and then shoot, he would have won this thing. Yo, I was in tears, bro.
Yo.
I retweeted it. I was like, oh my God. Because he's right, yo. This
Yes.
dude is there's been a couple of games this year where he's like out there and I'm like, oh my God, what is he doing? And then he hits like 8 threes that game. I was
Yeah.
like, oh, like that's what he has to do. I get it. Like that's
Yeah.
what he's like a repetition player. He practices
Yeah.
hard, and that's what it is. But you can see when guys like that, who and it's interesting because you see so much isolation now today. And it's
Yep.
interesting to see those guys are great shooters in the game. Like they hit tough shots, but they can't even hit a shot when nobody's guarding them. They
Exactly.
don't have to dribble or anything. Like it's crazy. They can't knock them down the road like that. That's crazy. But Dame, come on, Dame, yo, this is what he does.
Yeah.
Like he's a shooter. Like for
He
real,
loves it.
yo.
Yeah.
His shot is so pretty. He loves it, yo. He could get and he shoots multiple styles. He shoots all
Yeah.
different ways. Like he
Yep.
could shoot fading, he could shoot like sidestepping,
Off the
he
side.
could
Yep.
shoot quick, he could
Yep.
shoot high off the jump, like everything.
Yep.
He shoots different shots. He's just a shooter, yo.
He was
Dame
the
Dollar.
he was the only one consistently hitting that deep. What's the soda brand?
Was it Sprite or no? What the?
No, it's like
I don't
the
even know.
brand that's trying to take Sprite out or Seven, like whatever it was.
Yeah.
But he was the only one hitting that shot like consistently. Every time he pulled up, it felt like it was not.
Yeah.
You know, that I think you know, like Shaq and Kenny and those boys, they were just like, yo, like they got to move it back for him because like this is too close.
You got to do half court shot, like 3/4 court. He was shooting half court shots in the game.
Yeah, Dame,
Like
Dame
it was
is
nice.
nuts,
He was
man.
just like,
His range is crazy.
gosh,
And then
unbelievable.
and then obviously, yeah. And then obviously we had the dunk contest. Mac McClung won that. I mean,
put on a show.
he did put on a show.
I'll say this. Look. I know where you're going. But I'm going to say this real quick before you finish.
Sure.
They all finished on their first dunk. They weren't out there messing around. Like, you can say what you want about the level of the dunk, the difficulty of the dunk. Like, they all went out there, and it wasn't like they were like, we've seen in years past guys like fumbling the ball around there, throwing mad lobs, bringing people out of the crowd, doing all this extra stuff, and then take the whole time, and then at the end up just doing a regular tomahawk.
Yeah.
But this year, at least these guys are out there. They had ideas in their head. Whether they were, you could rate the ideas, the difficulty, the skill level, all that stuff, the flash, but they all nailed their dunks on the first one.
Yeah, for the most part. The only person I can think of was Kenyon Martin Jr., I think. But his dunk ended up being dope. Yeah, I think it was like an alley-oop. He went underneath the rim and caught it. So I do agree with that. And I you know, it's we've gotten spoiled. You know, like the Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine dunk contest from
we're from the Vince Carter era, bro. We're from the Kobe Bryant era. Like when Kobe just did like a regular windmill through the legs, and it was like that's an easy dunk today. But at that time, nobody was doing that, and like we're not seeing anybody push the envelope like that or push this dunk culture forward. And there's dudes who could do it.
I do agree with that, but at the same time, like there's only so much the body can do. You know what I'm saying? Like on a 10-foot rim. Right. I mean, there are people that jump out the gym. Jericho Sims. I mean, I know we were dogging him, but like he jumps out the gym. There's only so much stuff that
his head was clear over the rim. Yeah, exactly. Like he was just trying to showcase at that point. Like I jump higher than everybody here, and he does. But it's like he just put his arms in the rim twice. Like I was like, bro, you know, like he should have brought Julius out there or brought Brunson. It flew Brunson in. I don't know what his bread like, but something, you know, have a guy come up. Grimes was there. Grimes is his. They were drafted the same year. Like you could just go ahead and just use the guys who are there and your teammates, and then make something out of it. Because if he catches alleys, bro, like that's when you see him fly, truly fly. So that's what I was expecting him to do, is like have somebody throwing the ball up in the air and just like go get it. But he didn't even do none of that. He was just like, I'm gonna take the ball and I'm gonna put it in. I was like, all right.
So with regards to the dunk contest, earlier this week, Monday, Tuesday, whenever it was, Stephen A. Smith was on TV, and he said that LeBron James is, quote, personally responsible for ruining the dunk contest. So
Strong words,
I
Stephen A.
I agree with Stephen A to an extent. Because when LeBron, I don't even want to say LeBron like said it's not cool to do the dunk contest, but LeBron definitely made a business decision in that he's not going to sacrifice his brand, this empire that he was building, at the
Yes.
possibility of losing a dunk contest. Because any dunk
Then
contest
everybody
he would
follows
have
that
been
lead.
in, every dunk contest that he would have been in, he would have been heavy favorite. And if he would have lost to Aaron Gordon or Zach
Aaron
LaVine a
Gordon.
few years ago,
Exactly.
then we
Yeah.
would have been in uproar about how LeBron
Yeah.
stinks and how can he not beat Aaron Gordon in the dunk contest.
Jordan beat
So
Dominique. LeBron can't even beat Zach LaVine.
exactly. So I think he's just been very calculated. And I
And
mean,
everybody follows his moves too,
for what
business
it's
wise.
worth, it's worked. I mean, he's been very calculated
Yeah.
in what he does and what he doesn't do, and he's built an empire. He's won multiple championships and MVPs and the whole nine. So,
Everything.
what are your thoughts on Stephen A? Do you agree with what he's saying about LeBron, or is it all BS?
There's truth to what he is saying, like you said. I mean, you brought up all the points. I can only piggyback off of what you said. With LeBron, he is the leader, the face of this league.
Yep.
Everybody's following him business wise. You see that, like Kevin Durant moving from Brooklyn and Kyrie, like the way that they did that, believe on everything. Believe like you believe in God. That is because LeBron has been moving like this for a decade now. The LeBron's been signing 1-year deals every year, forcing the front office to go out there and build him a winner. There's no rebuilding. He allowed the Lakers to rebuild because now he has a $20 million house there. His kids are comfortable there. His wife loves it there. Yep. He likes the lifestyle there. He's starting a movie brand. Like business-wise for LeBron was in LA. So he allowed them to do a quick turnaround while he was injured and stuff like that. But the league, everybody sees how LeBron moves, and they move that same way. So as far as, whether or not he ruined the dunk contest, like I don't think he single-handedly ruined it, but his decision not to do it, yeah, that is impactful. And guys see that and they say, I'm trying to have LeBron 27s or Ja 27s or what. I'm not trying to have this cut off right now. Like everybody else, see what you want to see, what I could do with a Duncan, come to the game.
Yeah.
Buy my jersey, come see me play.
And I think I don't want to say lesser players, but lesser players, like players that don't have the expectations of a LeBron, of a Zion, of a Ja Morant, where they go into the contest, the expectation is they're going to do something crazy, they're going to win. So I think for a player like that, that has that high of an expectation, there's really no incentive. Like really all you can do is meet those expectations, or you can lose and your stock starts to drop. So I think the dunk contest is definitely more for like those fringe players or those players that are looking to make a name for themselves, like a Mac
McClung. A name for themselves, yeah.
And that's where, and I mean, we see it with Mac McClung. He's just signed a deal with Puma. He's on the Sixers now. Like his stock
on the Sixers now.
Yeah, his stock can only go up from doing the dunk contest. Whereas
one ankle turn for James Harden away. That's what he is. He's one ankle turn or a weird thing from James Harden, from Doc having to, and just a few injuries. God forbid, for Sixers, but like that's his opportunity can come.
Absolutely.
And wow, would Philly love that guy, because he's like a little white Iverson, Like
I don't know about that, but
gonna be like, I don't know. But that's what he could be. That's what he could be. I'm saying, like, they're the same build. They got that athleticism. They're from Virginia. Like, come on, man.
True.
Like
Very
all
true.
of it, bro. Like Philly can build that. Like, if you want me to come in, I'll do it, Philly. Let me know. I love the city.
Yeah. So the Mac McClung won. He definitely put on a show. And to your point, a lot of the they nailed all of their dunks in terms of like creativity or difficulty, not so much. But
Trey Murphy did a crazy dunk too. Trey Murphy had that one crazy. I don't even know how he did it. Like it was like I don't know. He did a round and then up like that.
Yep.
Yeah, like it was like I don't even know how he did it. It was crazy. That's what I'm saying. That's why I thought it was crazy. I was like, what did he just do? But
Yeah.
because he started one way, turned, twisted, and then reversed it. Like, and he was throwing them. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was,
So
yeah. Shout out to him, man. We haven't mentioned him. We mentioned all the other guys. Trey Murphy the third. I think you're right.
yep.
He's the third. Yeah.
Yep.
He and he's a good young player too for the Pelicans. I'm going to see him live on Saturday. I'm going to the Knicks Pelicans.
There we go. There we go.
Shout out
So
to my brother Jeremy, man. It's his birthday. Shout out to my brother.
happy birthday, Jeremy. So I said immediately after the dunk contest, let all the G League players in. Just get professional dunkers in, because if the product, I think, again, I feel like we're getting to a point where we're like pushing the bounds of what a human can do. And you have these NBA players that don't want to get hurt. They don't want, bring in the dunkers.
They don't want to lose.
Let's get creative.
Find them all. Scour the universe for the greatest dunkers. And like I saw somebody said, have an NBA player, like what players sponsor them. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
and
that
then
would be dope.
Have it be a cash prize, or I don't know, like have FanDuel say, create odds like, yo, put together. I don't work for the NBA, but I could do this. I could come up with this idea.
Yeah,
like, I have ideas for this. I have so many ideas.
Hey, Adam, give us a call.
We can make All-Star Weekend. Yeah, Adam, holler at me. We can make this work. I know how to make All-Star Weekend great again. Make All-Star Weekend great again.
Well, speaking of that rolls us right into Sunday. We had the All-Star game. And a few weeks ago, we talked about the format for the teams, which I thought was really dope. They drafted the teams right before the game. Then they had all their pregame festivities and the whole night. It did take a little longer than we would have liked, but you get drafted to the team, and then they had the pregame festivities. You warm up with your teammates, and basically it's a pickup game, which going in I thought was going to be a really dope idea. The game was not great at all.
Not good.
In fact, the Mike Malone, coach of the West, he came out afterwards and said that was the worst basketball game he's ever seen. The media caught SGA after the game, and they were questioning him like, hey, Mike Malone said it's the worst game he's ever seen. How do you make it better? And SGA said, money talks. Do you think money would solve the issue? Like, how do we make the All-Star game better?
They have to pay. It has to be a cash prize. What's the best? There are two great motivators that I know of. One I will not say on these airwaves. The other is money. And those things motivate people to do anything, to go to great lengths to accomplish their goals. So if you just make it a cash prize or some type of bonus that every player on the winning team gets. Losing team don't get nothing. It got to be winner take all. I guarantee you these dudes will come out and play. I guarantee it. Even if it's just $500,000 a player, these dudes be gambling that on the plane ride home from LA. That they don't care. So go ahead and just like put that money up. Each player $500K, $1 million, whatever you do, or have that money they could go to any of their charities or something like that. Make it whatever you gotta make it, but it has to be money involved, because that's what nobody want. We want to believe that they're so youthful and exuberant, and they want to just play the game they love for free. It's just a game. Go out there and play for free. Nah, I work. I do this for work, and I could be in Cabo right now or Tulum, but I'm here in Salt Lake City, so pay me to be here. I'm still working. My teammates that didn't make the All-Star team, they're in Tulum. I want to go to Tulum.
So to play devil's advocate, I tend to agree that money is a motivator, but let's say it's $1 million per player on the winning team. You win, you get $1 million, whether you play 2 minutes or 25 minutes, whatever the case is.
Sure.
There's going to come a point where $1 million isn't enough. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were playing
Is there,
for.
Though? I don't know if we will ever be in a point in America where $1 million is not enough.
when
$1 million is enough as like to go do some work. What?
but
A little bit
you're
extra work.
so like why can't so again, playing devil's advocate, what money aside, like what is preventing these players from giving you 20 to 25 minutes in an all-star game in front of all these fans that came to see the greatest players play against the greatest players? Like 25 minutes isn't a long time.
25 minutes is that's what I was suggesting too. A lot of guys just didn't even go. Like, but I get it. They showed up because there's guys who are feeling injuries. They're banged up. They want vacation. They want to go lay down. You know what I mean? Luka want to go sit on his farm or whatever in Dallas or outskirts of Texas somewhere and drink beer and not be like he doesn't want to be in Salt Lake City. But they're there. The fans voted him to be there. He's gonna play for a couple minutes. Let them see him do a couple passes. He got mic'd up. You know what I mean? Like he showed up, and they have all the media responsibilities. So you're still working. They're still working, and my teammates are gone. They're off on vacation. If your coach ain't the best in the league, then they're off on vacation. Everybody off. But I'm over here in Salt Lake City in the mountains. Nah, man. I'm trying to go to Tulum.
Bro, you're in Salt Lake. You're acting like, yes, there's media responsibilities. Yes, they're playing in a game, but they're partying. Wherever the All-Star game is, All-Star weekend, they are party. Like, don't get it twisted.
Yeah.
Like they're not there.
So now I really don't want to play.
They're not there lifting weights. They're not there at 6 a.m. workouts and getting like they're partying, and then in the midst of the weekend, there's a game that they're going to play in. Like, give us
tired,
25
man. I
minutes.
was standing outside. Diddy had a party. It was minus 20 degrees outside. We was out till 4 a.m. And I got to play?
So
try to go to sleep.
So my only other thing is, and they both involve Kobe. Kobe Bryant, a few years ago, I think he was on the Knuckleheads podcast, and he was saying that the All-Star game needed to be revamped. We all know Kobe's a different animal when it comes to competition, but he was like, I went to the All-Star game and I wanted to win. Like, I did not want to lose an All-Star game, like whatever the case is.
Where's that competitive fire?
And the only instance that I can remember recently where the game was competitive was the All-Star game in which they were honoring Kobe after he passed. So clearly it's there someplace, the competitive nature to just go out and play for the love of the game. But I'm just not convinced that money will solve that. Like, there's got to be.
I'm not gonna lie. I think Salt Lake City. I think the city the last couple of years has played a significant impact, and it's in Indianapolis next year. So I don't imagine it'll be any better. They need to go into Miami, Houston, Atlanta. If you're gonna go to a cold weather city, it's got to be New York. They want to go somewhere these guys like want to be on vacation. Chicago, even, I guess. Like, they can figure something out in Chicago. It was cold in Chicago in February. Who wants to go to Chicago in February? It's cold unless you live there or you from there. Nobody want to go there. But
I guess
Miami, even Orlando. Why? Listen, just go somewhere warm for these guys so they can enjoy and have a vacation out of this. Don't send them into the mountains. The league 85% black, and you sent them to the mountains in Salt Lake City. Come on, what are you doing?
Yeah, and I mean, for what it's worth,
send them to LA. Go to state, Sacramento. Go to got a brand new arena. Why not Vegas? They do the Summer League out of Vegas. Why not Vegas? Vegas, they play in that Thomas Mack Arena or whatever, or something. I don't know. Whatever arena they got out there. Why not Vegas?
They've got to do something. And honestly, this is across the board. I feel like all All-Star games aren't great. But you want to
across sports, right?
Across all sports. I mean, you want to keep the essence of the game as much as you can. But we saw the NFL go to flag football because, like, these guys don't want to participate in
baseball. Is the closest they got it because you can't fake baseball. You can't fake it. Like, pitchers got to pitch.
So the thing with baseball, thing with baseball is,
and it has impact. There's incentive.
Where? In baseball?
In baseball, there's incentive to win because you still get like home field advantage for the
Nah, they
league
got
that
rid of
wins.
that. Nah,
Oh, they got rid of
nah,
that. Oh,
they got rid of
well,
it.
there was incentive.
In real, briefly, I mean, it really didn't make sense because like you shouldn't put that much weight on an exhibition game, where it has an actual impact in the playoffs and in the
Well, that's what I'm
championship.
saying. If you wanted to play good and get good ratings, then yeah, you should.
But
People won't
I
want to
mean,
watch a trash game.
but like especially I mean, and I know we're kind of getting off topic, but especially in baseball, like
Yeah,
you can play 8 innings great, give up a walk-off home run, and now your league gave up the walk-off home run, and now you don't have home field advantage in the World Series. Like I would be pissed because there's literally
yeah.
nothing that I could have done aside what I did for 8 innings. So
Yeah,
anyway,
it's horrible.
anyway,
It's terrible,
um,
but that's how the game is. They know how the game is. The game is how it is.
yeah, I guess. But yeah,
It
across the
sucks.
board,
That's the worst part about
I think
this.
all-star games need to be evaluated. Again, I think ultimately it just comes down to the players. And I mean, we're in a different time
Yeah.
in sports, in a different time in like generation of athletes. And I'm pretty sure I've talked about it on this show. It's just that their bodies are their business. So to go out
Yeah.
as much as they want to go out and put on a show for the fans, and like it's supposed to be a celebration of all the best players, if they were to, God forbid, get
Dangerous.
hurt, you know what I'm saying? Like that's their
And
business.
there's a couple guys out there who are feeling bad. Who like Joel Embiid has this thing with his foot. The doctor's literally telling him all the way he played all the way leading up into the All-Star break too, and pretty good. Doctor's telling him the only thing that's going to fix it is rest. There's nothing that we can do beyond this to reduce the pain. You know what I mean? So they're telling him that he needs rest. But he got voted into the All-Star game. He's got to go play for a few minutes. Luka dealing with an ankle. He's got to go play. Who else is out there? LeBron. He's dealing with all the stuff he's dealing with at 38. He got to go play. You know what I mean? So everybody's got something going on at that time, and they don't want to go that hard. You could tell the guys that were 100% healthy and they were going because they went.
You saw Jason Tatum.
Felt good.
You saw Kyrie.
Good.
Yeah.
They were getting after it. Kyrie was really going. Donovan Mitchell was really going. You saw some of the guys was really going. Julius Randle, he got out there. He was doing his little thing, trying to find his way out there.
We're not talking about any Knicks.
DeRozan
Knicks
played
and
for a little
All-Star.
bit.
We're not talking about that at all.
Yeah, because Jalen Brunson should have been an All-Star. That's why. And if he was, he would have crossed everybody on that court. He would have crossed every single person out there.
But he was not.
Hezzy. Hezzy's crazy. His Hezzy is crazy. The whole package of Hezzy. He got mad Hezzies for you, and you.
So we're gonna move away from the All-Star weekend. I think we both agree that something's got to change, whether it's money, format, whatever. But I think we all just want to see quality product. So the NBA's got some work cut out for them. If they want to hit us up, Pete Check.
Real quick,
Johnell,
ratings declined too, man. Ratings declined too. Like they reported the ratings declined from 29% to 27% viewership from last year. So I mean, it's bad, and it was a record low audience behind the Pro Bowl, which you mentioned wasn't even football.
Yeah.
Like they played flat.
They got to do something.
So
they got to do.
Maybe they got to do. Maybe they need to call up the homie Ice Cube right quick and have him do a Big 3 challenge with the NBA players.
They absolutely wouldn't do that because you get cooked by a Big 3 dude. You're never gonna live it down.
ISO Joe out there cooking people. That's still guy, like 46. Man.
That's my guy.
I love Joe Johnson. Miss him.
So let's get out of the All-Star game. There was some movement. We already got through the trade deadline. Russell Westbrook got traded to Utah, which I immediately was like, that's not going to happen because Utah and Russell Westbrook don't get along. Sure enough, the Jazz bought him out, and Russ has signed with the Los Angeles Clippers. He went right across the hall. So they've got their own big three. They've got Russ, they've got Kawhi, they've got Paul George. Is this team, I think,
Right.
and you might have the standings in front of you, I believe they're the 4th seed in the West right now. Is this team legitimate? Can they make a run with the addition of Russell Westbrook?
Listen. I'm just this edition. I'm just as sure as I was about this team before as I am after this acquisition. I think that he can help them. He has a history playing with Paul George. We know that. I don't
That's right.
know what the impact is going to be until I see it. I really don't. Uh, I know that all they need him to be is just what he's been this year. They don't need much more out of him. There's a lot
Yeah.
of guys over there who can make their own plays, who can get their own basket. There's a lot of guys over there who, you know, they just need him to be Russ, probably with the second unit. So I think that he can help them. That's a high level fringe starter now where he is in his career. He could definitely start for a couple teams still in the league, and I think it's a good pickup for the Clippers. I don't know if it propels them to like true championship contender.
Yep.
That's all dependent on Kawhi's health, Paul George's health. Even if they add Russ,
Yeah.
he plays great. And if one of those other guys I just mentioned goes down, it's all over. Ships crashing. So, yeah, that's it.
Very valid point about injuries, because I didn't think about that, but I totally agree. Am I a bad
Everybody got to
person to
stay out.
say? Am I a bad person to say I don't really care about this move at all? I
Yeah.
mean, I
Are you
do.
done with Russ?
So that's another part of this conversation that I was thinking about, and I was going to ask you about. I was looking at Russ's stats, and up until he got to LA, to the Lakers, he had never averaged definitely not less than 20. But really, I think it was like 24. He hasn't averaged less than 24. Until he got
Wow.
to the Lakers, where he had to take a little bit of a backseat to LeBron and AD, understandably.
Yeah, because he was still killing it in Washington. That was the thing. Like
He
they didn't Washington didn't let him go because he wasn't playing well. He was just making way too much money.
he was averaging, like, in Washington, he was averaging like 20, 11, and 7 or something like that. 24, 11, and 7.
Yeah.
Like, so
Yeah.
so my thought was, and I was going to ask you about this a little later on, am I tired of Russ? No. Like, I truly like Russ. I truly love the way that he plays. But I said in OKC that the way that he plays is not conducive to winning.
Is he going to
And
win a
and we
championship?
and we've seen that.
Yeah.
But also, he's been in really bad situations. Like, the OKC teams were
Yeah.
not good. Like, he himself dragged those teams to
After
the
Kevin
6th seed
Durant, he's
in the
talking about.
West. Yes, after
Yeah.
Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
He dragged
Yeah.
them
Yeah.
to the 6th seed,
Yeah.
7th seed in the West.
Every time.
He went to Washington. That wasn't great. They had Bradley Beal, but not much around him. Houston was terrible. And the Lakers,
Terrible.
I mean, yes, you have AD and LeBron, but the team itself hasn't been good the last couple of years. So I don't know if this is an indictment on Russ, or if he's been in bad situations, or if it's a combination of the
I
both.
think that's what it is. I think it's bad situations. I think he's played not as good as he can play too, but I think he's been in some awful situations fit wise. Like I don't know why LeBron even thought like, oh,
I agree.
get Russ. Like what? Like everybody like squinted their eyes at that when that happened because we were like, it was one of those things. Like we're like, okay, like yeah, Russ is good, but like I don't know, even peak Russ. And peak LeBron. Like I don't
I
know
don't
how
think
that
it
was gonna work.
meshes. Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit. So I don't know what LeBron was thinking. He's too smart of a basketball player to make that dumb of a front office decision. That's why this man has to be stopped. Rob Pelinka, good job at the deadline.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree with that. Yeah. Yeah.
When he let
So
Melo walk out the door, that's what it is.
so yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I think this team, the Clippers, could they be good? Yes. I mean, they're good already. Can Russ be
Yeah,
somebody that is a catalyst in the play, or I mean, down the stretch and into the playoffs? Yes, but it depends on Kawhi being healthy. It depends on Paul George being healthy. And if they are, again, I truly don't think there's been a drop off. There's been a drop off in scoring with Russ. I don't think there's been a drop off in play necessarily. Like he's
right.
had to take on a very different role in with the Lakers.
Every single place he's went.
Well, in the other places he's been the primary ball handler. He came to the
That's,
Lakers.
well, except Houston, really.
Yeah, yeah. He came to the Lakers, and not only was he not the primary ball handler, but he was also the third option. So
yeah,
he's going to be the third option with the three of them on the court, but he would be the primary ball handler when the three of them are on the court. So that's going to allow for him to do what he does in terms of penetrating, dishing, and I think that should take a lot of pressure.
That's where his peak is. Yeah, that's where he peaks. That's where his best basketball is. He's got the ball. It doesn't have to even take that long. He just blows by his first guy. He's still got a pretty quick first step. Like he's still able to get by people. And once he gets to that second level, that's where he's deadly. Pull up, shoot it on you. If he can start hitting that mid range, that elbow jumper, that was his thing. If he could get a little, he needs to get a little floater in his game too. That's another thing. He needs to get that stop and boom. Or back in the day, he would just come and just yam it on you. Like Russ was different. Still is different. There's some different in there.
Yeah, I totally
want to see how Ty Lue uses him. Maybe Ty Lue uses him a little bit differently here. Maybe he sees what we're seeing and he's like, yeah, my second group, they need something like this. You know, just a guy who's just going to go 100 miles an hour. You know, so maybe.
Yeah, hopefully. And again, we're not here. We're not psychologists. We're not trying to get inside of Russell Westbrook's head or anything like that. But it's just it just feels like for us. Yeah, it just feels like there's just for whatever reason there's something off. Like ever since he left OKC, it just seems like the fit isn't right, and it feels like he's pressing a little.
He's been in 5 different teams since then. I mean, that's crazy to say. Like a dude former was like a career guy.
He was an MVP.
Former MVP
6 years
10
ago.
years in
6 years ago, 2000, whatever it was.
6 years ago.
6 years ago, he was the MVP, and now he's been on 5 teams in 6 years. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Wild,
so I'm truly hoping. I'm rooting for Russ. I'm rooting for Russ. I really hope.
Me too.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna win, but I hope that he can, like, for lack of a better word, revitalize his career, because the narrative around him
what I want to see.
Stinks. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think that's true. I think he's been a really.
I want to see him have a good. I want to see him have a good series in the playoffs, make a big play, do some Russ stuff, because that's another layer of his career. He has not been a great playoff performer. That's true. That he's been an inconsistent playoff performer, even going to the finals when they went him and Kevin. Yep. So it's a demon that a lot of players are fighting. Fortunately for him, and there's only like 5 teams in the last 10 years that have even been to the finals. So like it's just crazy. But I want to see that for him.
I really want to put the narrative to bed that Russ is like a bad guy. He's definitely not.
Yeah.
He just hasn't played great basketball, and I think it's fair for people like you and me and other journalists and analysts to call him out on that. I think he would. I was going to say I think he might agree with us, but he might not. But he hasn't played great, and I think that's fair. But I don't think he's finished. I don't think he's a bad person. So I really want to see him play well. You know,
in the right situation.
Yeah,
that's what I want to see. Hopefully, he's in the right situation now and in the right role for this point of his career.
Absolutely. So speaking of the tail end of the season, as we mentioned before, tomorrow, Thursday, the 23rd, I think the back end of the season kicks off.
Yes.
Most teams have like 23, 25 games left. trade deadlines passed. We know what these teams are going to look like in terms of roster configuration. Are there any surprise additions or omissions in the playoffs, the play-in tournament, the whole nine? Do you see any teams that that climb the ladder, that drop the ladder, drop out of the playoffs, climb into the playoffs? Any teams that you can think of that you're excited to watch the back end of the season?
I'm curious about the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
That's a team more talented than
Their
what
record.
their situation is right now. They're 29-30. They're eighth in the East. They just fired their coach.
Yep.
Now, so there's the Twitter rumors go around that these guys are like trying to get Nate fired, like playing not good basketball. You yourself, when I sent you, said I'm not surprised because they've been playing garbage. And even though the front office made a couple moves trying to bring in Sadiq Bey and stuff, like these guys just they're not putting it together. So
yeah,
I'm interested to see where they go if they fall into the lottery, and really fall out of this thing, or if they can get back up into the playoff race. In the West, I'm curious about the Lakers, man.
yeah.
I'm curious about the Lakers. It's a whole new roster there. They got a healthy LeBron coming back. They're gonna have a healthy AD. They got all those new additions, guys empowered to make plays, and and when you're playing, Tristan Thompson said something the other day about and this is another one I'm gonna mention. Kevin Love to Miami, but real quick to back to Tristan Thompson, he was talking about that acquisition. They picked him up off waivers, basically bought him out.
Yep.
Cleveland bought him out. So he was saying that when you play with guys like that, like when they were there at Cleveland, they play with LeBron. Like when you go to link up with LeBron, like you elevate your play. Like guys recognize that. So he was saying the same thing like when guys playing with KD. I want to see where all these guys can go. Phoenix is 5. Let's see how high they can rise. I want to see if the Lakers can get into this thing. And I want to see if Golden State can stay in this thing. They're 9th right now. There's only a few games separating these teams.
Yeah, Steph's he's still hurt, right?
Yeah, Steph is still out, but they said there's been good progress. There was a report that came out today. I just want to see where some things fall. Miami, I mean, that's interesting. The Knicks and Miami are like tied for that, like 6-7 kind of right there. And Brooklyn is just ahead of the Knicks at 5 by a half a game. And we play them twice more. So,
I mean, you would think Brooklyn would drop, even though they did play decent after the trades.
Yeah.
But you would think Brooklyn would drop.
Jacques Vaughn's locked up now.
Yep.
Yeah. They've been playing all right. They have a bunch of good complementary players.
Yes.
They are once again a superstar away. This is like I told everybody, like what we were clowning them because of the way the situation went and everything like that, because there was high hopes for that team. But yes, could they have gotten more back for KD? Yes. But they got a great package. Like I think them Bridges and Cam Johnson are 2 real strong players, and they're back to where they were before they got Kevin and KD. They just need a superstar player. Like,
yeah.
They didn't really. I don't know. KD went there because he needed Kyrie. I think him and this group, a group like this could have got something done.
But the reason they got the group was because of KD. So it wouldn't. Yeah, it wouldn't have worked.
They wasn't even worried about Kyrie. Yeah. This is crazy. Yeah. It's crazy how it all went. It's crazy how it all worked out.
I'm definitely with you. My 2 teams are in the West, and I mean, it's no surprise. It's Phoenix and the Lakers.
Yeah.
Again, we might have talked about it last week. We've definitely talked about it on the show in general. Phoenix, I mean, as good as they've been over the last 3-4 years, their window's closing, man. Chris Paul's not getting any younger.
Now.
Like, they've got to win soon, especially with the acquisition of KD.
Devin Booker gonna be 30 before you know it.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see. Again, KD's been hurt. I saw pictures of him recently in practice, so he's practicing, but he hasn't had any real game time speed, like practices
Yeah.
with the team. So we've got to see how
And
they
we've seen
gel.
how he does coming back in playoff intensity too, like how his body
That
responds.
too.
You don't want to bring him back in a playoff intensity, and that's the first time he's running back on the court. You just don't want to do that
Absolutely. Absolutely.
because
So
that's when you want to play as instinctively as you can.
So, I mean, with KD, we know I don't think it's going to be an issue of him adapting in with Chris Paul and DeAndre Ayton and booking those boys. I think it's going to be the other way
Right.
around, where they might be trying to defer to him, try to get him involved. Where KD, he's very comfortable. And when it comes to basketball and being on a basketball court, I feel like KD is one of the most confident, one of the most like he's so confident in his skin. He doesn't
100,
need you to
100%.
defer to him, or like he'll take whatever comes to him in the flow of the game. So I
He
think it's
can do
more the other
anything.
players. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not worried about KD. KD can
Um,
play in any situation. He's like the most interchangeable basketball player
yeah,
like in the league, like ever. Like he doesn't need a system. Like put him in any system. Like put him in any system. He can play
yeah,
in it.
yeah.
There is no way of put him on a court, he'll play and make
That's it.
plays. Like that's
That's it.
he's just who's a hooper.
That's it. And then the Lakers, for all the reasons you said, obviously they're
Yep.
sitting at 13, I believe. But you've been preaching it the last few weeks that yes, they're at 13, but they're 4 wins, 5 wins away, like
From being sixth.
from being sixth
like,
and not even in the
yeah,
play-in tournament. So
yeah.
LeBron said these are the most important 23 regular season games of his career. So it sounds like he's locked in. Hopefully he
Locked
comes
in.
out healthy, AD healthy, and then this new roster. I'm very interested to see how they put everything
I
together
am
and make a
too.
run in the last, 23,
Because what
25
if they
games.
mess around and go like 18-4 or something like, or 18-5? Like,
They
where does
could.
that put them at? This 45. Yeah, like that puts them at 45 wins. I would not have imagined that they would get 45 wins
Yeah.
at the beginning of the season. Not
Yeah.
honestly. So that's just crazy. That is
Yeah.
it will be a crazy turnaround.
I
And I
agree.
mean, it's possible. The
It is
team is good
possible.
with a healthy LeBron James and a healthy Anthony Davis. In the group that they got, those are good role players they got.
Yes.
D'Lo playing the best basketball of his career right now.
Yes.
Like, and he was an all-star.
Yep.
A couple years or a few years back.
Yep.
He is playing outstanding right now. Very confident. He's the type of player that needs to play with LeBron. Like
Yeah.
that's the type of
I
like
agree with that.
it fits. It fits. Now you
He's
got these guys that can go, but those character guys like Schroeder and Reeves and these other guys, like those glue guys, now they can go back to doing what they do. They're not
Yep.
going to be asked to do stuff that they couldn't do before. Reeves,
Yep.
just shoot, pump fake, sidestep, and shoot. That's it. Don't do
Yeah.
nothing crazy. We don't
Yeah.
need you to do that. Give it to
We
LeBron to make plays.
we've got a lot to look forward to down the stretch. It's really gonna be interesting. Again, with the play-in, a lot more teams have chances to get into the playoffs, or at least attempt,
Yeah.
battle to get into the playoffs. But I think that's good. I mean, it makes things more competitive longer. So we've got a lot of these teams. Again, the Lakers at 13 a few years ago, they would have
Yeah.
been done. They'd be,
We're setting up we're setting up my game of the week right now. You know that, right?
they'd be
We're
shutting
setting it up
LeBron
nice right
down.
now.
They'd be shutting LeBron down for the rest of the season if this was a few years ago and they're
Yeah.
sitting at 13. So I think this is good. More teams, more competitive to possibly
Yeah.
be in the playoffs, and yeah, we'll see what happens down the stretch.
Because
The
they
last
have a
20,
player like
25
that.
games.
They have a player that they know. That they know all we gotta do is get in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And LeBron will be activated. We could push that button once we get in the playoffs. Because
Yes.
y'all know how it goes, man. So I'm telling you, stop playing with this man's name, bro. Like, I don't have these GOAT conversations anymore. Charles Barkley actually said it the best, bro. He was like, you can't compare the eras. And now I finally old enough I get it.
Yeah.
Because I done seen multiple eras myself now. and I remember how basketball was back then. And I remember because they all were the best of their time.
Yeah.
Like the
Yep.
game was played different then. It just was
Absolutely.
because the way I was taught to play basketball is so different than they play basketball right now. I'm 36 years old.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So this is crazy. It's
Yep. Yep.
crazy.
Yep. So before we get out of here, um, Price's game of the week last week was just the All-Star game. We didn't really have anything else to
Yep.
talk about.
Yep.
But
Yep.
this week, again, back 9 in the season, we're gonna get back into
Yep.
it, and our guy is going to give us the game that we should be watching. If you're not gonna watch any other games
Yes.
this week, you need to watch this game. Price, what do you got for
Yep.
us?
Thursday night, 10 o'clock, TNT. Stay up late, ladies and gentlemen. Take a nap after work. Golden State, LA. I want to see it. Golden State is 29-29, 500 team right now. As I mentioned before, they're ninth in the West. They're going to LA.
Okay.
To LA. Why do I put the emphasis on the two? Because this is the worst road team
That's
in
true.
the West. They cannot win. They're one of the worst road teams in the entire NBA. The Lakers sitting, like I said, at 13th. They're right behind them at 27-32. Just gonna keep creeping. They're healthy. LeBron motivated.
Yep.
You mentioned before. He said these are the most important 23 games of his career. Because I think even he sees it. Yo, I want to stay till Bronny plays, but these are my last chances to really get like a championship. Like this is it for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I told you, he about to push that button. Soon as I push that button, they better get it right like the ambulance coming. So I'm telling you, that's what he's saying to him.
Yeah.
That's what he's saying to him. The Lakers are going to come out motivated, man, and I'm excited to see that. Everything's better when they're in the playoffs. If the Lakers and the Knicks are in the playoffs, this is going to be a great playoff, yo. Or at least in the play, like it's just going to make it better, yo. They get the big stars out there, get the big cities in there. Let's do it, man. Come on, LA.
Let's go. Laker. Neither one of us are Laker fans, and we're here rooting for y'all. We need y'all in the playoffs. We need y'all in the playoffs.
But this guy.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's my guy. Even though he torched me his whole career.
He certainly did. He certainly
His Madison Square Garden games are unbelievable. He never came there and ever had a bad game.
I mean, there's something about New York in general, man. Not even just basketball.
He was only outplayed once. He was only outplayed once in the Garden. It was by a 6'2" Asian guy from Harvard. Know him as Jeremy
Lin. He put
on
a show. Yeah. He put on a
absolute show. You had to be there. You had to be there, kids. Gen Zers, you guys are in bed.
So Knicks game this weekend. You're going?
Yeah, Knicks Pelicans. Me and my brother. We're gonna go down to the city, have a little dinner. No, Zion is he had a setback in his rehab. Something else with the hamstring again.
This man's never gonna play,
bro. Something is afoot. With him in the organization, or something is afoot. Why is he not? What do you mean he can't? What, like his hamstring? That's it. The soft tissue injuries are tough, but something is afoot, yo. Something's up. Is he trying to get out of there? Like, what's going on?
Wasn't he real giddy about talking about New York? Is he trying to get up to New York?
He loves New York. They interviewed him, and he was one of 3 players that mentioned what his best road city, like their favorite road city. He, Donovan Mitchell, and Colin Sexton all mentioned New York City. Colin Sexton will be a free agent.
Don't get your hopes up, man.
We will love him.
Remember the last time you got your hopes up about LeBron, about Donovan Mitchell?
Greatest city in the world. Oh, we don't get up about these superstars, these prima donnas, scared of the limelight. They're scared of the likes of me going on the internet and talking bad about them. Why? Call the ambulance, man. Shout out to Julius Randle, who took all of it. He took all of it, and he came back better for it.
No doubt.
That's what you do, man. It's New York, man. Just work hard, bro. Just work hard, and that's all we want. Go out there and work hard. Play hard. It's
No,
not even. It's not even hard.
That's not all you guys. You guys want wins. So
no, we want to. If you play hard, you typically win, right?
not
Or at least you can have
necessarily.
I've seen people leave the Garden happy with games that they just played good and they lost in overtime by like 1 point, but they were happy because they played hard. Like that's it. You could go out and after that and be like, all right, let's go out in the city. I don't want to go back to the hotel after they lose 25 to Giannis in there. Like that is trash.
Fair enough.
That's trash.
Fair
You know,
enough.
when they just don't even want to play. I don't. And you have some nerve. The price I'm paying to come up in there and come watch you stink it up. Kidding me?
We'll see.
Y'all better, yeah. But my boys is hot right now. We ready. We ready, and we here.
Matter of fact, before we get out of here, I told you, you guys might lose 5 out of 6 coming out of the break because of the performance that we saw in the during All-Star weekend between Julius Randle and Jericho Sims.
Quentin Grimes. Jericho Sims is a rotational player. Don't worry about him. He'll be fine. He starts. He plays like 15 minutes a game. He's just a guy who can.
You should be embarrassed.
He's a good player. We like him.
You should be embarrassed by what you saw over the weekend. You should be embarrassed.
You can't even touch net, and you're over here. A guy puts his head over the rim. And you're not impressed. Kidding me?
What do you mean? I'm not talking about being impressed. I'm not talking about being impressed. I'm talking about a poor performance. You had all this time to get ready, and that's what you give us? That's what you're going to get the back 9 of the season.
He put his hands in the rim.
You should be, as a Knicks fan, you should be embarrassed.
No, I'm happy for my guys. And Quentin Grimes, shout out to you, Quentin Grimes. Should have won that MVP. I don't care if you lost. He was out here scorching, torching him.
Put it on.
Go look up Quentin Grimes video.
Mark the tape.
Stop bringing up the Jericho Sims thing.
Mark the tape. What's today? The 22nd? You guys are going to...
I made a joke about it.
You guys are going to lose 5 out of 6.
In my Julius Randle jersey.
5 out of 6. 5 out of 6 out of the break because of the performance your players put on during All-Star weekend.
No chance. You want me to run through the schedule?
Yeah,
they ain't going to lose 5 out of 6.
Please.
They open up with I think, listen, you're not going to disrespect us like this. Please stop it right now. They open up in Washington. That's a dub. Then they come back home. I'll be there. I have a great career record in attendance at the Garden. They win, so that's a dub. 2 out of 5 out of 6 right there. Your whole theory's burned. Then after the New Orleans, they beat them. They have Boston coming in. They play Boston great. It's a divisional opponent.
Now y'all gonna beat Boston.
Hard.
All right,
they beat them already this year.
All right, keep going.
We already beat them. We already beat them this year.
All right, keep going.
Listen, and then we go into March. They got Brooklyn. Brooklyn is faltering, playing well, but faltering. They're coming back to the Garden. They're out of here. Miami, huge game. I can't tell you where it's going to go. We're going down to Miami. That city usually swallows people. It's a Friday night game, though, so they can play before they go out. So things will be maybe, they'll be able to play hard. Then they come back. They go back to Boston. That's 6 games right there.
So Boston,
they can win every single one of those games.
I
say they lose maybe to Miami, maybe to Boston.
You lose to Boston twice. You lose to Miami.
No.
That's 3.
No.
You'll lose to the Pelicans. That's 4. So you'll lose 4 out of 6. I said 5 out of 6. You'll lose 4 out of 6.
You're sick. You're a sick person.
Mark the
You're
tape.
Sick. You're sick. I'm calling a therapist for you tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, first thing. I'm writing it down on my calendar right now. Call Johnell a therapist.
That's fine. And then on whatever date that was for the second when was it? March 5th. I'll be sure to text you. I'll give you a call right after the game after you've lost your 4th. 4 out of 6.
From March 5th, yeah, Boston. Yeah, you're crazy. Right, we're not losing to Boston twice. We're going to beat them once. Especially in the Garden. When they come to the Garden, we want blood for Boston. When they come to the Garden, you should see how rabid the fans are. When something different when those Celtics come into town.
You saw what he did in the All-Star game.
No, I see what he did. Now I'm about to see what Jalen was about to do after they snubbed him. After they took an All-Star vote away from him, there was probably a bonus in his contract that he signed. Then if he gets an All-Star, he gets a bonus. My man's going to be out for blood. He's coming back. He gonna get it back in blood. What they say, Pusha? He said, "I'm gonna get it back in blood." Jalen Hurts, you know, he's from Chicago.
Yo, we'll see, man. We will see. We're definitely gonna keep an eye on the Knicks over the next couple of weeks. So,
Sure.
with that said, we're gonna get out of here. Again, my name's Johnell. This is my guy Cash Walking. This is Heat Check powered by Designated Report. If you've got anything that you want to ask, anything you want us to talk about, let us know down below. We'll get to it. We're just here to talk basketball. I mean,
that's it. We like to talk hoops. That's it.
My guy, I will talk to you soon. I mean, I'll talk to you throughout the week, but I'll see you next week.
Yes, sir. All right, bro.
Adios.